arguably their star player. Well, it's not really an argument. Their star player in Declan Rice not being there, and I think in football, when you have a supposed advantage, as Man City do going into this game, the biggest fear is that you think that means the game's done, and there's always another 11 players who can cause trouble. But after that, pretty much one-way traffic.
It's been one-way traffic so far, Esme, but I mean, we've not broken the deadlock as of yet. Is it a case of it's going to happen and we've just got to keep plugging away?
Yeah, I think we've had a couple of close calls. The one where Rodri hit the post and it just agonisingly sort of scuttled across the goal line and went wide. We've had a couple, Haaland rising at the back post. I think you made the comment that we're throwing a lot of balls into the box, so I think it's just a case of getting on the end of them. John Stones had a header that went close by, so I think it's only a matter of time before we break through.
I hope you're right, Nedum. It's been, obviously, like we said, a bit of a cagey affair, but we have seen a lot of energy from Alvarez in that pocket of space. And we pointed out Haaland was getting a lot of space earlier on. It sort of closed up a little bit. Ogbonna was, I think on commentary, Andy Morrison said that Ogbonna was exceptional.
Yeah, exceptional. Okay. Yeah, I thought he did do well, but I think Alvarez is the key to this sort of system as it stands because he's got more license to roam. And when he's roaming, getting on the half turn and being able to drive at the back line, I think that's when we see West Ham not look as good as say they have done when City have tried to break down the full 11. So yeah, it's good to see him getting on the ball. We want to see him to continue to do it more. And then this is the other side of it. As long as Haaland stays in the right positions, he will take 2 players away to create the space for Alvarez. So obviously it's disappointing to have not seen them score in that first half, but the game is 90 minutes, is it not? So anyone that's too anxious now, just calm down. There's plenty of time for a goal, and hopefully it'll go to City's way and they'll get another win.
There is a lot of anxious City fans in the studio, me included. David, you've got a stat for us as well.
Anxious?
Which you've been mentioning about clean sheets and half-time. And
what's the new stat now?
According to my, well, I'd have to say 9 now, but according to my my records, City have failed to score in the first half of 8 games this season. 7 of them are away from home. The only game they failed to score in the first half was here against Crystal Palace, and they won 4-2.
And Haaland scored a hat-trick.
Boom.
Esme,
That's
nothing
a record
to be
breaker.
Concerned about.
Yeah.
If that doesn't reassure you, nothing will.
We're obviously really, really lucky to have the attacking threat we've had. Jack Grealish had a lot of the ball on that left-hand side.
Yeah.
It's been, taken on. We've also put a lot of balls into the box. Seems like a little bit more than usual.
Yeah, I think Alvarez and Grealish have combined really well, to be fair. Bernardo seems to be floating all around the pitch and Alvarez is being given that channel just in front of the edge of the penalty box to kind of roam, and he's got on the turn quite a few times and threaded it through to Grealish. And yeah, we've had quite a few balls whipped in. I think that's probably where Andy Morrison's comment comes from, because it just seems to have a magnet to Ogbonna's head at the minute. It just seems to be flicking everything away, but Haaland, he gets on the end of these. He's going to get on the end of one soon.
The positive vibes in the half-time Matchday Live studio. Nedum, you agree? You think?
Yeah, I agree. There have been more balls that have come in like that, but I think sometimes you take what the opposition give you, and West Ham seem quite happy to force City to go out wide and try and get those balls in. But when teams set up really well to do that, where they tend to struggle is for a cutback. So I'll be interested to see if they do that in the second half and have that more as a target to think maybe put 1 or 2 in. But then the next time, who's going to be the one arriving on the edge of the box? Because most of the defenders would have sagged back into a position where they can head it, but then they won't have enough time to step forward to try and stop somebody getting a shot off.
How hard will it be for West Ham in this second half to keep their discipline, to keep... They're not really seeing much of the ball, so it's a case of getting rid of it, it's coming straight back. How hard is it going to be as the game goes on and probably a bit of fatigue kicks in?
A lot of it's quite easy, simply because it looks like that's the game plan. Once they clear it, I think that's where they're struggling. It's almost like they haven't had much time. Their training session is defend, 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 and see what we get from it. The thing that I've noticed in that first half is a lot of the clearances have been rushed and fortunate to get out. And therefore, if you're going to keep doing that, there will be just the odd one. And let's remember, 1-0 is as good as 4-0 with regards to a win. So it might just be that one rush clearance, which isn't done properly, that Manchester City take advantage of and score a winning goal. But mentally, you just set yourself in the game. I mean, we said, I think West Ham would rather the game just continue for 90 minutes so they don't have to stop, take stock of it and go, actually, this is working, because that might change slightly what happens. But I just think for them, they're just here to defend.
What will Pep be saying in the dressing room, Nedum, to that group of players? What do you think, Pep? Will it be sort of more of the same, or we've obviously had the Rodri chance, but we've not really forced the keeper into loads and loads of saves, have we?
I think Pep Guardiola would be acutely aware of what it's like for a team to set up with those banks of 4 or 5 or whatever to try and stop their team from playing through them. I think he understands that. And I think he'll try and keep the players patient, make them know that they don't need to rush it, but then also don't leave yourself open to be hit on the counter-attack, for example. There were 1 or 2 times where, say, a couple of players dived in, gave a few free kicks away, which they probably didn't need to. I think he'll probably try and address that. But again, it's the positive sort of message, I believe. Continue doing the right things, work on just the final details on that side, and believe that it will come. And I think that's proven to be the case across many years that they've done it at City. So I don't think he'll be too concerned, but he'll know that the players can up it a little bit, and they'll need to if they want to win this game.
Still so much football to play in the second half. We've had some WhatsApp questions, and this one is one for you, Nedum.
What are you laughing at? This is not a good start to a question.
It's a brilliant WhatsApp question.
This is not a good start to a question.
We absolutely love your WhatsApp questions. And Nedum, the question is, if Esme was playing in this game, would she have scored by now?
Find any game of football anywhere in the world and put Esme in it, she will not score. Don't even worry about it. Esme is not about that life.
Getting rinsed.
Yeah, listen.
I would. That one that John Stones had, free header in the box, I'd have put that straight
Always
in.
easier from up here, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
I'm backing myself.
Nah, to be fair, everyone, don't worry. I love Esme. I hope she scores loads of goals. I hope she scores more than me, because then I can say this was a very important moment in her career. He's 18. Oh. She's got a long way to go.
Just
but
17 to go.
Yeah, but 17, then you're young.
Yeah.
Nedum can't play any more football.
10 years ahead of me.
Listen, if she gets to 18, I might come out of retirement. You never know.
He's coming back.
This is your 5th season.
Yeah.
So 1 every 5 years. So by the time you
do the math.
on 3.
No, I've got to up my average a little bit, haven't I?
Yeah.
A bit of work to do. That's okay. This has fueled the fire now.
This is what we needed.
I'm on Team Esme.
I tell you what, we're both Team Esme here. When Esme goes on a goal scoring
You're supposed to be neutral, by the way. You're supposed to be neutral. That's bang out of order.
There's no such thing as neutral. We're with you all the way, Esme. We're with you in the title race as well. Let's talk. Another WhatsApp question we've got is for everyone in the studio. What's your current favourite City player and all-time City player? We'll start with you.
Thank you. My current favourite. Oh wow. I don't know, because I've sort of loved quite a few of them. Phil Foden. I've loved Phil Foden. I've loved Riyad. I've loved Nedum. I'm going to go with Edison.
Who is your all-time City player?
That was the same answer.
Edison and Edison?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Oh, I love it.
Esme, what about you?
I think current De Bruyne, he just steps up when we need him most. It's as if the calendar hits March and he just comes alive. But then for my all-time, I've just got to say Aguero for the moments he's given us.
Currently, I'd say De Bruyne. I think he's amazing. When you speak to him, he's just like a normal guy. He shouldn't be normal, but still, he's perfectly normal. And then all-time, it's biased, but I'll say Vincent Kompany, because I think his legacy still exists at City, even though he left a few years ago. And a lot of those players in there, the tone of the club is set from how he was during that time when I was with him, and then from when he left afterwards.
And he's doing a great job in his managerial career now. We've spoke about Phil Foden. You're a big fan of Phil Foden. He's on the bench today as well. We might see him get introduced sooner rather than later to try and...
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's interesting talking about everything's interlinked, isn't it? The amount of crosses going in, but the quality is not quite there. And when you mention Kevin De Bruyne, he's the guy that puts the quality on the end of those crosses, or the beginning of those crosses. With Kevin absent, Fantasy League, you need someone to open it up a little bit more. I think West Ham are quite comfortable dealing with those crosses, as Nedum said and Esme said. Get Phil on. Oh.
That's it.
Sorry, I always make noises when I
get Phil on. Well, hopefully that will be working. Absolutely. So we've got some numbers here. Jack Grealish's numbers against West Ham: 8% pass accuracy, 40 touches, 17 final third passes, 2 ground duel ones, 2 key passes, a shot off the bumper, and 1 big chance created. Talk to me about Jack.
So he's in the game then, you could say?
He is massively involved.
Yeah, do you know what? Fair play to him. I think it feels like at the moment he has got Soufal's number, but you need to get the goal, you need to get the assist, you need to break the deadlock. Because, Soufal could walk off the field at the end of the game and say, I kept a clean sheet. So all those stats, they feel important, but there's just one that's missing, and it's the one which helps get City in the lead.
You probably noticed Nedum and Esme are wearing 2 absolutely lovely T-shirts for City in the community. City and the community have taken over today. We spoke to Mike Geary earlier on, the head of the charity, and they're doing some absolutely amazing work for the community of Man City. On the screen right now, we've got an online link where you can donate. City are matching all donations. We've got text numbers. You've just got to text healthy to various numbers based on your donation. We are pleading with you in the Matchday Live studio, if you can afford to please donate, please do, and help support an amazing cause. And we're gonna head over and show you a little bit more now.
Hey you, Healthy Goals is here.
New fundraising initiative by City in the community.
To uplift the physical
and mental health
Of City Youth.
creating new community football spaces in Manchester.
where we can deliver our youth-led programmes.
And with Man City matching donations.
Will you play your part?
Amazing from City in the community and the new fundraising initiative, Healthy Goals. Please do donate if you can and help support an amazing charity which everyone in the studio has been involved in. We're waiting for the players to come back out and we'll be straight back to our commentators. Last thing, what does City need to do, Mr. David James?
Score a goal.
Scored one.
You can concede and score one more.
Well, that's the thing, score two, yeah.
I was talking to Nedum and Esme during the game there. It's interesting because what we might say might be completely against what Pep wants his team to do, and we trust in Pep. I just look at Haaland and the amount of space he actually has when City are building up from the back. I'm going to go back to the Arsenal game last weekend. There is an opportunity just to play a more direct ball into Haaland and for Alvarez to work off the piece, and I don't think West Ham is set up to deal with that. At the moment, it's kind of predictable in the sense that they're going to go wide, try and get crosses. That might be enough, probably will be enough, but I just think that they could change it up a little bit to cause more problems for West Ham.
And Esme, how long do you think it'll be until Pep makes a change in the second half?
He's not one where if the game's in control and he feels and he goes a lot off feeling, I think. If he feels that a goal's coming, he's not one to kind of change it and disrupt the rhythm. So I think it really depends how the first 10 minutes go, and if we're looking a bit sluggish and struggling to create chances, I think then he'd be bringing on a Foden to try and add a bit of spark, someone a bit more dynamic to try and take people on. But I think it'll be a case of gauging how the first 10-15 minutes go.
It's nearly time for the second half. You can see the live images of the players in the tunnel. So we're going to head back and throw over to our commentary team for the second half. Come on, City.
Well, thank you. Welcome back to the Etihad Stadium. Some statistics for you. City had 80% possession in that first half. They also had 4 corners, West Ham 0, and they had